This is a James Model 12 Sports Twin. It was made in 1925, and it's difficult to believe that this tiny machine holds a 500cc V-twin four-stroke engine. James was well known in later years for its wide range of two-strokes, but in fact in the 20s they produced machines from 250cc to 750, all of them being four-strokes, and this was the ace in the pack really, the most successful bike and the most well-known of the James motorcycles. What I like about James is that they were a very honest company, and I say honest because it's interesting to note all the main parts of these motorcycles they made themselves. And the only thing on this machine which was bought out were items like the tyres, carburettor, magneto, lamps. Everything else was James. The silencer, which is cast aluminium with baffles inside, very expensive to produce, but gives a lovely drone at speed. Just a word about controls. It has a 3-speed hand-change gearbox, and it does not have a twist grip, but it has these two levers instead to control movement. The bottom one is petrol, determines how much petrol goes in, and the top is air. Getting the right balance between those two is part of the skill and pleasure of riding these old machines. James advertised this machine as a sports twin, and they said it was smooth, reliable and fast, and that's a fair description. It gives a stable and relaxed ride and has wonderful pulling power, largely due to the heavy flywheels which were used in those days. Handling is very good, and the steering lock extremely generous, permitting easy turning on the road. It is worth riding an old bike, if you haven't done so, to experience this wonderful characteristic. Each bike was tested to 65 miles per hour, and it cruises at 50 to 60 effortlessly all day, and gives about 55 miles to each gallon of petrol. The founder of the Vintage Motorcycle Club, Titch Allen, tested this machine in the 70s, and it's very interesting to see what he had to say. I quote, "I think I can best sum up the Twin Jimmy by saying that of all the vintage machines I have let slip through my fingers, this is one I wish I had acquired." Although James advertise themselves as the king of motorcycles, I wouldn't necessarily go with that, but this model, this V-twin, was affectionately known as a Jimmy. I must say I understand why people looked on these Jimmies so affectionately. They are lovely bikes. It's difficult to understand why they don't have more recognition for a bike of that period, but they are wonderful. To me, the Jimmy is a cracker, a real cracker.